One of my favorite styles of short form content to post is a side-by-side comparison. I post a ton of these on Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, all of the above. A video where on half of my face I will utilize one makeup technique, and then on the other half of my face we will do the opposite. Maybe like a higher blush placement versus a lower blush placement, a contour higher up or lower up, different shades of under eye powder. I just like comparing everything. I think it's valuable to see them sit next to one another. But without fail, 100% of the time that I'm posting a side-by-side video, I can anticipate to receive a comment about how one side looks older. There's that insinuation in that statement that the older side looks bad simply for looking older, which tells me this plays a really big influence in the way that we do our makeup and the goals that we have when applying makeup. And it's something I want to unpack a bit today. And I know this might be a bold statement, but I really believe the desire to always look as youthful and young as possible is ruining your makeup. And I want to talk all about that today in Makeup Musings. So in the spirit of this age conversation, I want to do my makeup in a way that, gasp, might make me look a little bit older. Yes, I'm going to be using makeup techniques that are not going to lift my face, that are not going to look super youthful, but I feel very confident it's still going to be a beautiful makeup look, even though it might make me look older. I just applied a little bit of Fenty Eaze Drop. I will leave everything linked down below as always because we won't be talking too much about the products. So ageism in beauty obviously is not new. The desire to look as youthful as possible has long existed, but you could argue that the desire to look as young as possible is currently more apparent than ever. You know, think back to a few months ago, the how old do I look trend that took over the internet, of strangers posting videos of themselves without makeup on and then asking other strangers to guess how old they look.
Okay, I'm ready to participate in this trend and get my feelings hurt. How old do I look?
How old do you think I look?
But how old do you think I am?
How old do I look?
How old do I look?
How old do I look?
It's also very apparent in the rise of cosmetic procedures. Business Insider writes from 2019 to 2022, there was an 18% increase in facial cosmetic procedures in the United States. In that time, the number of Botox injections jumped by 73%, and according to the American Academy of Facial Plastic and Reconstructive Surgery, Gen Z is helping to drive up the demand. In a 2022 survey, 75% of plastic surgeons reported that more clients under 30 were requesting forehead pokes and lip plumping. And we see this desire illustrated in the increase in baby Botox, which, spoiler alert, is just regular Botox.
Come with me to get baby Botox.
Come with me to get baby Botox.
Baby Botox, just a little bit of preventative, you know, because I am 27 and I heard that it is better to start at this age, that way you don't have to get more as you get older.
The normalization of Botox for women in their early 20s and alarmingly sometimes younger.
Botox. I do believe in preventative Botox. Just like preventative medicine, it's a lot easier to kind of stay on top of these things rather than play catch up later in life. So if you're trying to kind of preserve your natural beauty and prevent some signs of aging on the face, such as wrinkles, Botox can help with.
And the emphasis on anti-aging in our culture today has become so alarming that in 2017, it prompted Allure to ban the term anti-aging from their publication. They write, "This issue is the long-awaited, utterly necessary celebration of growing into your own skin, wrinkles, and all. No one is suggesting giving up retinol, but changing the way we think about aging starts with changing the way we talk about aging." With that in mind, and starting with this issue, we're making the resolution to stop using the term anti-aging because whether we know it or not, we're subtly reinforcing the message that aging is a condition we need to battle. Michelle Lee also writes, "Language matters. When talking about a woman over 40, people tend to add qualifiers like, she looks great for her age. She's beautiful for an older woman." Catch yourself next time and consider what would happen if you just said, "She looks great." Yes, Americans put youth on a pedestal, but let's agree that appreciating the dewy rosiness of youth doesn't mean we become suddenly hideous as years go by. When it comes to the anti-aging conversation in beauty, we hear it referenced so often through the lens of skincare, cosmetic procedures, but I rarely hear it dissected from the viewpoint of makeup and the way that we're applying it. You know, that article kind of critiques the language around anti-aging, but I don't think it's as often considered when we talk about makeup. I'm guilty of this as well. You know, we'll say things like, "Oh, this makes me look older, with the obvious underlying message that for some reason that should be a bad thing. Or even when we look at claims on a product, this like foundation or primer especially, but they might say something like 95% of users felt their skin looked more youthful while applying this. The language that we use around these topics only further reinforces the lie that looking more youthful is good and looking older is bad. And this is a message I'm trying to even break in myself. And I remember when I turned 30 last year, I was very, very scared. I was kind of excited for it. We're really programmed to believe like we're gonna reach our peak in life in our 20s. And let me tell you, my life has only gotten better now that I'm in my 30s. And I'm sure I will say the same thing one day when I enter my 40s. And yes, I've started to see some inevitable changes in my face and my body as I get older, but dare I say, I like them. But I specifically wanted to bring this conversation to makeup today because there's this fear of doing a makeup look that's going to make you look older. You know, again, going back to those side-by-side comments, anytime I'll do a makeup placement that is not lifting to the face, my entire comment section will say, no, that looks bad because you look older. I wouldn't do it like that because it doesn't look as youthful. But maybe, hear me out, maybe that look is still beautiful, even if it isn't the more youthful of the two. I think of this a lot when it comes to the boyfriend blush versus the lifting blush. This is going to be subjective. You might look at that and still believe that the lifting blush looks better on me. We're all gonna have a different opinion, but I think I look better with a lower blush placement. Yes, I look a little bit older, but I think it suits my face better, even if it's less youthful. Even the placement of my contour just now is quite low on the face. I went a bit lower than what is probably popular today. Could you argue it's dragging my face down a little bit? Sure, but I think it fits with my features a lot better than when I'm trying to place my contour way higher because my face has kind of a natural indent here. So when I'm putting my contour higher, it looks quite off on my face because it's not in line with the natural contour that my cheek already has. And we see this so often with current makeup trends. They rarely discuss from a perspective of what might be flattering to your face and our individual faces, and mainly just spoken from the perspective of what might be the most lifting to result in the most young looking appearance. So instead, I'm taking this a bit lower. And contouring is also not really something I do honestly that often, but I chose to contour today because again, I want to include makeup techniques that people fear because they think they look older. And I hear contour so often described as that, like, oh, you know, it looks old. Something I say all the time is that makeup washes off at the end of the day. The ability to play and experiment with makeup is part of what makes it fun, in my opinion. I think of the word aging in relation to makeup the same way I think of the word flattering in relation to fashion. And this is something I've spoken about before, but once you release yourself from the shackles of needing to dress in a way that is flattering, the world opens up to you when it comes to possibility with outfits, with pairings. And I understand that we're really taught that your outfit should flatter you, it should flatter your body, but that doesn't need to be the desired outcome every single day when you're getting dressed. Some of my most fun outfits that I have felt the most like myself, the most inspired, the coolest, are outfits that are far from being flattering, but I still love them. Something doesn't need to be flattering to have value. Okay, so that was the Milk Makeup contour stick. This is the shade Toasted. I haven't used this in a while, but I do think it looks really beautiful. I'm gonna go in with blush now. This is from Hourglass. I just got this in PR recently, and I feel like I'm a little late to trying these out. I know they're super popular, but I have been wearing this every single day since I got it, which I guess is only like 4 days now, so more thoughts to come, but I'm really liking these. They're super pigmented though. Like just that one singular drop is all I'm gonna need to do my whole cheek. Pick it up there. Well, maybe not, maybe I'll add more, we'll see. But I'm going to apply this, gasp, quite low on my cheek. I'm not gonna apply it up here. I'm gonna apply it more like here and go up and down. And I know it's gonna drag my face down a little bit, but I really like the way that it sits. I think something about this looks very natural. It's reminiscent of my face, how I would look if I actually was a little bit flushed. And then I'm just gonna take whatever's left on my brush, kind of go around my forehead just to tie in any of that pink up there. You know, all that in mind, I understand why there is this inherent desire to always look more youthful, especially when women are programmed with this messaging basically from birth. Not only is there such little representation of older women in media, but specifically when it comes to beauty and any beauty campaigns, like it's so uncommon, but getting a little more common these days, like step by step, but it's rare to see older women represented in media if it's not a campaign about anti-aging. To just be shown in a foundation advertisement or an eyeshadow advertisement though is rare. Like scroll through Sephora on the foundation page and look at the models that are utilized in shade swatches. It is so rare to see a foundation model that's in their 50s or 60s. Most of them are more like 20s, maybe early 30s. And that's just when it comes to foundation and other complexion products, but swap that out for eyeshadow or other steps in your makeup routine, and the representation of older women is basically non-existent. The rare times that we're seeing older women represented in beauty advertising, it's for skincare about aging. Or it's like a campaign about celebrating age, which don't get me wrong, I think is powerful and important, but I think that just highlights how rare it would be for us to just simply see an older woman existing in a campaign without it being an intentional statement of like, look, this campaign is including older women. You know, I did a video a few months back reacting to an article that Nylon posted titled, "Is eyeshadow an old lady thing?" You know, you can't escape it even if you wanted to. But we also experience this double standard where aging men get to be described as silver foxes, and the signs of their aging are viewed as attractive and desirable, when those exact same qualities of fine lines or gray hair are criticized in older women. And you know, that's by design. The anti-aging industry is obviously very profitable, and in 2022, Vox published an article titled, "How the Anti-Aging Industry Turns You into a Customer for Life." They write, "We've learned to pretend to celebrate older women, but we haven't learned to accept what happens naturally to their skin. We celebrate older women, but not the unintervened upon face. This fuels a multi-billion-dollar cosmetic and skincare industry dedicated to helping people, mainly women, stay young, or rather try to look like it." According to data from Euromonitor International, the anti-aging market grew from $3.9 billion in 2016 to $4.9 billion in 2021 in the United States alone. And the global anti-aging market went from $25 billion to nearly $37 billion during the same period. Beauty writer Jessica DeFino writes in her Substack, "Anti-aging is the cornerstone of the beauty industry. From skincare to surgery to healthcare, it's a fear-based framework designed to keep us consumed with insecurity and consuming products. Anti-aging is a construct of control." She also says, "Perpetuating the idea that women can and should appear younger than they are in order to be seen by society and feel good about themselves only strengthens the very beauty standards that hold us back in the first place." I will leave Jessica DeFino's Substack linked down below, and specifically this interview because I thought it was beautifully written. Okay, I've zoomed in a little bit because the sun is going down. I'm like, let me get closer, but also we're doing eyes. I have gone back to wearing this almost every single day lately. This is the Merit eyeshadow in the shade Studio. It has been my go-to because it's just like a one shadow look. I know these were pretty polarizing when they launched. They're definitely not for everyone because they're pretty stiff. But if you like a basically no eyeshadow look like I do, you will probably love these. Like, I've just been using that every single day. But while I've got you zoomed in a little bit closer, we're going to do the dreaded thin eyebrows. This is another one I often hear described as a very aging makeup look, and I don't know if people think about it like that because we associate it with an older age group that used to do their brows this way, or if it's associated with that because it's like less hair and it's less fluffy, it's less youthful, or I don't know, perhaps it's even just the arch. I think there's probably a lot of factors there, but anytime I've ever seen a side-by-side tutorial from someone showcasing a thin eyebrow versus a fuller eyebrow, I will always see comments saying the thin brow just looks older. And that might be true, but on some people, maybe it looks better. And in the eyebrow conversation, I have to assume that the popularity of the soap brow for the last few years was very influenced by the desire to look youthful. A, it provides a lot of lift, especially when the brow hairs are going upward. But B, the emphasis on the fluffy hair feels very childlike, reflective of a very youthful look. And do some people look fantastic in a fluffy feathered brow? Yes. But is it everyone's best look? No. But I think this is a case of chasing youthfulness at all cost, even if it maybe doesn't look as good on you as a different eyebrow shape could. And on myself, I love a thin eyebrow. Every time I wear it, I think it's so flattering. I think it suits my features. Sure, maybe a very fluffy brow would be more youthful on me, but I don't know. I just have such a fond place in my heart for thin eyebrows. Okay, the one tough thing about thin brows for me is it kind of highlights how uneven my brows are, and I try to kind of like overcompensate to even them out a little bit. I mean, they just naturally are a bit uneven, but it's as good as we're getting. So I was using the Anastasia brow dip for that. I have mine in the shade taupe, which is maybe a little too dark for me. I bought taupe when I had brown hair. I mean, my hair probably looks brown here, but it's a bit lighter these days. So I could probably go a little bit lighter, but this is the one I have. But what I'm gonna do is use the same brush and the same product to do a little bit of eyeliner actually, because I want it to be pretty subtle, but we're gonna do obviously a downturned wing, because whenever I do this, the comments will say, oh, your eye looks droopy, it makes your eye look older, which those might both be true, but I think it looks cute. Like, look at that. I don't know, I love it. I just think it's so fun and pouty. And I really like using brow pomade for eyeliner because it's super subtle like this, but it lasts pretty well. Like, there's no clear line of where the eyeshadow is. It's super duper subtle, but you kind of get that just almost shadowed effect. And that's why I like it, because I think it really emphasizes the natural indentation that my eye has out there. I'm not really like drawing on a new shape. I'm just emphasizing what my eye is already doing. Eyeliner and eyeshadow tend to be the categories that I see discussed the most in the conversation about makeup for mature women. I'll see so many videos titled "Stop doing this," or "Older women shouldn't wear their makeup like this," or "You can't wear your makeup like this." And obviously those can be helpful suggestions if you are after that desired look that the video is presenting. But I want to challenge the idea that an eye that is starting to droop or is very hooded is something that needs to be altered. And I know my eye is not the most exaggerated example of this. I'm only 30, but I hope you see this and know that you don't have to fight these natural signs of aging by trying to create the illusion that they don't exist. There's just as much beauty in an eye that is droopy or downturned or hooded as any other eye shape. For mascara, I recently repurchased the New Heights mascara from Ulta. This is the Ulta Beauty collection. They launched a brown kind of recently, and I remember loving this mascara in the past. I had the black shade, and this is probably the third time using the brown, and it's really, really pretty. I mean, it's not a super like chocolatey lighter brown, but I think it's a gorgeous mascara. Like, this was a major favorite of mine before. Okay, love that. I do want to add a little bit more blush. I've been wearing this blush every single day lately. This is the RMS Beauty blush in the shade Crystal Slipper. It has just like a little bit of sheen, but it's so pretty. So I've even been liking taking it around my forehead like a bronzer because it has a little bit of that bronze tone in it. Okay, I'm adding a little bit of lip liner. This is Nude Beige from NYX, one of my favorites, but I'm almost done with the look. I'm gonna add a gloss, but like, shocker, not really, it was kind of the whole point of the video, but shocker, I think this makeup looks really beautiful. Even though I did a ton of makeup techniques that I have been told make me look older, are not flattering, are bad for one reason or another, and yet I think my makeup looks great. Could I have done another look that might have resulted in a look that's more youthful? Sure, but this is pretty too. And my hope for this video is that you feel really empowered to do makeup that you enjoy regardless of whether or not it looks youthful. That does not need to be the desired outcome every time that you're doing your makeup. I'm tired of seeing the advice that we should avoid certain makeup looks or products because they can be aging. Not only is it obviously ageist, but it's so limiting. Your best makeup look might not look the most youthful. Your most fun and enjoyable makeup look might not be the one that results in the most youthful look. But the same way clothing doesn't need to be flattering to have value, makeup does not need to result in a youthful appearance to be beautiful. And to once again quote Jessica DeFino in her interview that I highly recommend you read, she says, "The biggest thing we can do to combat anti-aging ideology, I think, is remember that aging is another word for living. Anti-aging is anti-living. Living is the goal. aging is the goal. And I hope this video can serve as the beginning of unpacking our desire to always look younger and our fear of looking older, or even just our fear of looking our age. Because as cliche as it is, getting older is the best case scenario, and looking your age is a reflection of that gift. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll leave my full makeup musings playlist down below, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.